Hey guys, what's going on? Andres here. I'm working again today with the handsome and affectionate Ryu. Today we're going to be working on his fear of bicycles, scooters, skateboards. He's absolutely terrified of them. And actually, I found out walking by this bike rack in my garage that this particular red bike right here scares the crap out of him. So I can show you right now just so you can get an idea of how scared he actually is of this thing. What's this? What's this? What's that? Boy. Come here, it's okay. Eagle. Earlier he was barking at it, he was really freaking out, so I've kind of got him a little bit used to it. So what I like to do in this situation, if my dog is afraid of something, it's a similar situation if your dog has, other dog aggression or is afraid of people. Start at a distance, so put the bike, put the skateboard in a room or an area that's in an open field or someplace where the dog feels comfortable, within a distance that the dog isn't agitated by it, and give the dog some treats. So right now he's pretty good at this proximity, which is really good. The bike is right behind me and it's not moving. So what I'm gonna do is just introduce him to some treats here, so he knows, hey, everything's good. And now he's a little bit more focused on what we got going on. I'm gonna take him towards, we got a car that's gonna start in a second here, so it might get loud. I'm gonna take him a little bit more towards the bike. Wait, come here. What's this? Hey, good boy. Good boy. Okay, so that was a great example of something that scared the crap out of him. And what I did, unfortunately we're in this garage here, it echoes, it's really loud, and there's really nowhere to go. So what I did was just gave him treats as the car was making all that noise, so that he could understand, hey, pay attention to me, treats are good, there's stuff going on, and he doesn't need to be afraid of the car. So it's the same thing with the bike. Hey, come here. Good boy. And I was able to get him into a sit position so that he could kind of have a task to focus on, which sometimes is not easy to do when he's in a situation where they're really worried. So this actually isn't a very good environment if you want to have your dog focus on one thing. You want to be in a quiet place that they're comfortable. I didn't expect it to be so noisy here, but since I've been starting filming, there's been people walking by, there's been cars coming and going, but it's a great tester. So he's doing really good right now. Sit. Sit. Good boy. He's doing really good right now, so we're gonna keep the exercise going, and any other distractions are maybe gonna take his focus away for a minute, but also at the same time might help us get him more comfortable in different environments. So this is the bike behind me, so what I'm gonna do now is just kind of bring him close to the bike with the treats. Now if your dog is absolutely terrified, don't bring him this close. Start about 10 feet away, whatever he's comfortable with, and just start bringing him a little bit closer. Come here, buddy, come here. Yeah, good boy. Until you can get to the point where you can put a treat on the actual object that he's afraid of. What's that? What's that? Good boy. Don't move the object yet until he's really comfortable being around it. What's that? Want that? Get that. Come on. Cool. So somebody shuttered the car door. It's okay. It's okay. Here. Good boy. So he's not quite there yet. We're gonna work towards it. Fortunately, somebody's walking around and kind of distracted him, but he's almost there. He's almost there. Come on, you can do it. There you go, buddy. Take that treat. Get that treat. Get that treat right there. Get that treat. Hey, it's okay. Come on. There you go. So he got the treat off of the bike. So now I'm just gonna keep working towards that. I'm gonna take him away from the bike for a quick sec and just kind of get his mind off of it. Come here. Good boy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. So he's still really obviously very nervous about it. Every time I give him a treat, the first thing he does is check back. Is that bike still there? Is it still gonna kill me? Is it still after me? So I'm just gonna get him to be continuously comfortable around it, and I'm just feeding him treats. I'm not really stopping the feeding of the treat. And also at the same time, a great thing to do is for him to realize that when he's around these objects, treats happen. He does get treats. And if you want, right now I don't want to move this, but if you want, what you can do is take the object out of the room, don't give him any treats. So your dog will associate that object coming into the room with getting a treat. Now this is a really good thing to do if your dog is very fearful and you can't even get them this close. So bike comes into the room, bike goes in the field, skateboard goes to the room, whatever it is, they get a treat. Skateboard goes out, bike goes out, no treats. It comes back in, treats. And that's how you kind of get them desensitized to the object in the actual room or the vicinity, and them to associate that particular thing with getting treats. I'm gonna put one more on there, see how he does. Great. Went straight for it, didn't have any problems. Still nervous, he's still nervous clearly. And my loud voice there kind of startled him. But he's doing much better, he's doing really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to get him occupied here, a bit further away, with some treats on the ground. Good boy, good boy. And I'm just gonna move this. Good boy. Hey, what's that? What's that right here? Good boy. So I'm moving this in his peripheral so he can definitely see it, but it's not distracting him. He's not afraid of it. So by doing this, this allows him to get used to the motion of the object, and at the same time get close to it. So I'm going to come closer and closer to it. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. Come here. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. So now he's getting used to this thing moving. He's fixated on the treats, and he's getting much more comfortable with this thing being in his close proximity. So I'm going to test him a little bit, bring it a little bit closer, see what he does here. See if he gets a little bit startled. No, he's good. Good boy. There you go. Good boy, Ryu. Good boy. So that's really good. So we made a lot of progress here. So now I'm just gonna get something in your eye. So now I'm just gonna come to the other side of this bike and kind of see how he's still hesitant about it. I'm gonna be on the other side of it, and I'm gonna feed him from the other side. So he has no choice but to lean into the bike, into the object. Good boy. Good boy. And get comfortable with being right on top of it, basically. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm just going to move it just a little bit. I don't want to startle him because I know he's very nervous in this position. There you go. It's okay. So he backed off, right? But that's okay. So we'll just keep him going. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Give him a pat. Give him a touch so that his nerves that are all pent up kind of can expel for a quick sec there. Good boy. Good boy. Come here. What's that? What's that? What's that? Good boy. And get him distracted. Distract him with your voice. Up here. Hey. Good boy. There you go. So that he's not fixated on this one thing. And that's kind of the process or the progression that you would take. And you would continuously do that until he's comfortable with the object. You can add in a sit. Hey. Good boy. So now he's hey. Right here. Sit. So now he's performing a task. Hey. Sit. 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 Stay. So now he's performing a task and he's keeping his mind off the bike. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here for a second and see how he goes with it. Good boy. Come here. There, leans right over it, so he's much more comfortable on the bike now. Now if I move it, good boy. He notices it, but he's not afraid of it. It doesn't cause him to be fearful. So now I can bring him back into frame. Buddy, come here. Good boy, good boy, good boy. There you go. Let him have a sniff at it. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And then I'm going to reward him for that because he did a really good job. He was curious about it. He smelled it. The car's door kind of startled him. But otherwise, he did a really good job of getting comfortable with it. So that's the progression. If it's a skateboard, it's the exact same thing. Bring the skateboard towards him slowly in the room, introduce it, roll it a little bit, roll it upside down, put some treats on the skateboard so that he can associate the skateboards with treats. And then eventually, that's kind of exactly the mentality he'll have to it, and he'll become completely comfortable with it. There you go. There you go. So before he wouldn't even take a treat off of the bike, and now he's eating right off of the seat here. There you go, good boy. And I can even move this just a little bit right in front of him. Good boy, he's still a little nervous, so you just keep this progression up, and eventually over time, a couple of sessions, your dog will be completely comfortable and used to this object, the bike, the skateboard, whatever it is. And sometimes these things take a little bit of dedication. You gotta stick with it. And don't push your dog's limits too far. If your dog is terrified of skateboards and just freaks out at the sight of them, start far away. Don't allow your dog to be in the position where they're gonna fail. Don't put them in a place where it's gonna cause them anxiety or stress. allow them to work up towards their limits and keep them within their limits so that they can continue to grow within that and grow with you. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. Good boy, Ryu. Good boy, yeah, good boy.